Welcome back to the Trading Bell Show, and we are speaking to Tapelo Tseole, the CEO of the Botswana Stock Exchange and also the new president of the African Securities Exchange Association, speaking and really optimistic about Africa as a whole and how the exchanges can be part and parcel of just the global investment landscape. As we were speaking about the IPOs, I can't wait to really think about the direction in which the globe is taking. And we've seen a lot of conversations when it comes to matters, climate and all that. And the exchanges are a platform that can as well be movers of this particular direction. We're talking about matters, environment and the likes. So how can then African exchanges, from your view, play a much larger role in enabling the continent to attract funding for climate-related investments?
Yeah, I think this is one of the things that we are doing in the product development side of the stock exchanges in Africa. A number of stock exchanges in Africa are members of United Nations Sustainable Stock Exchange Initiative.
Yes.
We advocate for sustainable finance through various initiatives. And therefore, all these 14 stock exchanges actually take part in that respect. There's also some initiatives in terms of issuing green bond in a number of exchanges in West Africa, in East Africa, and also in the SADC region. These have been in the upward development trend. The other aspect is that, in the Southern Africa region, we've actually developed a framework of issuing green bond. We have got a regional framework and we've done actually a demand study to look at where are the opportunities in terms of the deals which are actually happening. And also within the African Stock Exchange itself, we've got a task force, which is a subcommittee that is dedicated to sustainability. It looks at sustainability issues in the stock exchange in Africa. It identifies potential opportunities which are there in the continent for stock exchange to take advantage of. And it also looked at development of rules and regulations among stock exchanges in terms of sustainability and your ESG models, and then your regulations against sustainable products and sustainable finance. And therefore, I think we are doing quite a lot, and we are actually in the right track, because a number of exchanges in Africa have actually facilitated development of green finance products and have attracted capital in this respect.
Okay. Just this is off the cuff, because I'm concerned personally as an investor here locally, and you're seated as well, and you have mentioned that in Botswana as well there's some flat sort of sentiment when you look at IPOs and all that. Every time our market gets sometimes affected by capital flight by foreign investors, sometimes, because they are quite a large number in terms of percentage here. I'm sure that's the same thing across your exchange. How can we, from where you sit, avoid situations where when foreigners get better markets in their countries, we are not as affected, so that we can have a lot of local investors ourselves and stabilize this particular market? Do you have an opinion on that?
This issues brought us on the issue of the Africa Leakages Project.
Okay.
That there are a lot of opportunities in Africa in which Africans or African stock exchanges or African investors can leverage on the African Exchange Linkages Project to develop a lot of intra-trade within African markets. So that when a lot of foreign investors leave, we can develop or retain a lot of African trade, which still have a lot of potential that have not been exploited. And also financial inclusion plays a very important role. A lot of African markets, and it's also some of the key performance things we are trying to do in Asia, need to broaden the investor base, especially in their respective countries, to really educate people about stock market, be it at young age, be it at matured age, to participate in the stock market. And therefore, the opportunities that there's a lot of capital that is trapped in various African countries that is not actually fluid within other African markets. And therefore, that is where we need to be really working hard in order to develop this market.
Certainly. You've just mentioned about how we can broaden our scope, and I've just remembered that we have the African Continental Free Trade Area. And I'm sure you must have a message on how ASEA members can support this implementation, because, you stand to gain as well.
Yeah, I think these are one of the issues that we have actually been discussing. That, I mean, the interconnectivity of the African market is actually a typical example of the Africa Free Trade principle.
Wow.
I mean, all what we are saying is that we need investors in Africa to be trading stocks in other market, and this needs to be easier. I don't need to be going to trying to find out where can I buy shares in Lagos. What do I need to do? When I'm in Nairobi, I just go to my local broker, and then I tell them I want to buy this particular company, either in Morocco or in Egypt or in Botswana, and then the broker sitting in an office in Nairobi will just route their orders to Botswana. Just with that. So it's a typical example of the Africa Free Trade initiative, which we are going to be working so hard to try to partner with them in order to develop the initiative further.
Wow, that's great. And so, to my final question for you today, and this is just purely putting you on the spot. Here locally, we are sort of battling how to address especially the young population, and Africa is regarded as young because of the demographic that we have. And one of the ways is, how do we endear the exchange as an avenue where they could consider to start as early as they can? Of course, there are many competing forces where we are saying people are feeling like, oh, I can diversify to other places and the likes. So I'd like you to address that as one, how we can talk to the young generation or in Africa. That's number one. And then number two as well, I wanted you to address the issue of exchanges within themselves, diversifying their portfolios so that we're only not relying on the IPOs and the likes, but develop many other products. I'm sure that's something in your entry. How would you address those two things?
I think the issue of attracting, especially the young one, lies much more in terms of the stage at which the world is. They are technologically advanced people. They believe in technology. And therefore, I think we need to develop platforms where we can make it easier for them to reach the market. Be able to reach the market at the click of the button from their phones, and be able to do that seamlessly.
Excellent.
Information dissemination, because data is very important.
Absolutely.
The young generation consume a lot of data, and therefore we should be able to make sure or ensure that a lot of data reaches them. And that also comes to the second question. I mean, the plain vanilla IPO and buy and hold for a very long time is also losing the taste.
It's not as exciting.
It's not exciting. We need to be developing products that are able to attract level of investors into the market. I mean, and also we have competing products that the young generation or even some investors invest in this product, and therefore as exchanges we need to try as much as possible to develop products beyond the IPOs companies, and also try as much as possible to disseminate a lot of information and do market development outside our traditional stock exchange product. Because I think in the next few years it will actually be very difficult to get as many IPOs as it's already difficult to get as many IPOs as we used to, and therefore this is where product development and diversifying the portfolio comes in.
Your part in short, especially a message to your members. I'd like you to just give them your presidential message, if I may say that to them, and maybe just touch on the capital stakeholders in the continent as well.
I think we're going to start on a good note as a new ExCo. We have hit the ground running. And therefore, one of the things that we want to really give members is the value proposition for their membership in belonging to African Securities Exchange Association. In terms of their members, and therefore they need to feel that it's important to belong to this organization, and therefore delivery of the existing projects and the new projects that are planned is crucial. It's very critically important. And also even to the stakeholders, there's a lot of potential that needs to be exploited in the African continent, especially in the stock exchange landscape. And therefore, that's what we planned to do, to deliver the improvements in developing the integrity and the market of level of development of African stock exchanges to a level where it can actually be attractive, it can actually be good for a number of stakeholders who are in the African continent to be taking out the opportunities that are there in the African continent.
Great. Thank you so much for your time. But of course, I have to put you on the spot again. I might come into Botswana soon enough now that the president is here with me.
You have to come to Botswana.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
All right. That's Thapelo Tseole, the new president of the African Securities Exchange Association and the CEO of the Botswana Stocks Exchange, giving us a very optimistic outlook on how this association is going to be, and we wish him all the best. Right now, we take a look at Markets 101. There you have it. Let's take a look at the historical fact for this week. And let's take a look at how the markets perform. That's it right here on the Trading Bell Show. Great conversation with Thapelo Tseole, the president of the African Securities Association and also the Botswana Stocks Exchange CEO. Now, in the African spirit, I want to leave you with a proverb that says that if you are not patient, you cannot make beer. And I want to elaborate that in my own context and say that if you're not patient enough to invest, you'll not be able to reap the fruits that come with it. So my call to action to you is this: take advantage of what you see. Take advantage of the portfolios that you can invest on right here at the exchange, and they're quite a number, and so that at least you can enjoy the fruits that come with it after the long run. That's it from here. My name is Maina Chege. See you next time, same place on the show. Bye-bye.